Now, Republicans in Congress are advancing a bill that would allow companies to require employees to undergo genetic testing or risk paying a certain penalty on health insurance premiums. Basically, what it would do is it would let employers see the genetic and other health information of certain employees. Now, this is very far-reaching, and it has some very interesting implications. Now, right now, this genetic testing by employers is prohibited by legislation, including the 2008 Genetic Privacy and Non-Discrimination Law, known as GINA. Now, this new bill gets around that law by stating that explicitly that GINA and other new protections do not apply when genetic tests are part of something called a workplace wellness program. Now, we know what that's about. Workplace wellness programs, you got to fill out these questionnaires, you got to do these tests, you got to make sure you're getting cholesterol tests so you're not too obese, et cetera, and then, you get better rates on your insurance, or at least your insurance rates do not skyrocket. Well, under this law, HR 1313, well, that would kind of make it mandatory to even have genetic testing done as part of those workplace wellness programs. Now, this was approved by a House committee with 22 Republicans all supporting it, with 17 Democrats that are opposed. Now, you have Jennifer Mathis, Director of Policy and Legal Advocacy at the Bazelon Center for Mental Health Law, who is a civil rights group, says what this bill would do is completely take away the protection of existing laws. In particular, it would take away these privacy and other protections for genetic and health information in GINA and the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, Mathis says, quote, they would pretty much be eviscerated, these laws, these protections, these privacy protections. So, fantastic. Now, why do they want to get rid of this? Well, it's because they're donors. You got to follow the money. See, these companies, these employers say that they need these changes because those two landmark laws were not aligned in a consistent manner with laws about workplace wellness programs, as an employer group said in congressional testimony. But here's the thing. The ACA actually allowed employers to charge employees 30% and a possible 50% more for health insurance if they decline to participate in these so-called voluntary workplace health programs. Now, these programs, of course, as I mentioned, include cholesterol screenings, health questionnaires, including plans to get pregnant, and sometimes weight loss and smoking cessation classes. Now, so look, again, this is getting into your personal healthcare habits, okay? This is getting into your personal life. Now, I don't know if any of you remember during the healthcare debates back in 2010, where they were talking about, the right-wingers specifically, they were talking about some of the problems with government-sponsored healthcare. Other than death panels, some of the arguments is, well, the government, they're going to tell you what to eat. They're going to tell you that you have to lose weight if you're too fat in order to save money. That's what they're going to have to do. The government's going to get in between your care. Well, instead of the government, this is actually your employer getting between you and your doctor. Ironic, isn't it? But hey, no, Jeff, this is completely 100% different. Remember, these workplace wellness programs, well, they're voluntary, but the government's not voluntary. You see the difference? You are making a false equivalence here, Mr. Jeff. Am I? Are these really voluntary? For example, if you opt out, you end up paying thousands of dollars more in premiums and deductibles if you do not participate into these. How is it voluntary if you can't afford it? It's what George Carlin said. They got you by the balls, son. They got you by the balls. And look, this is under the ACA. And now they want to add genetic testing into these. They want to see your genes. They want to see your genes. According to congressional testimony by something called the American Benefits Council, which is basically a front group for Fortune 500 companies, these two privacy laws put at risk the availability and effectiveness of workplace wellness programs. Basically, they said it deprives employees of benefits like, quote, improved health and productivity. No. We're just working out. We're just working for you. We're looking out for you, man. Now just give us your health and your genetic information. And if you don't want to give us that information, that private information, then we're going to charge you 30 to 50% more to get your health insurance through the company. No, look, this isn't about your health. It's never been about your health. Again, look at who they represent. The American Health Benefits Council represents large corporations and employers that provide employee benefits. Benefits that I can safely assume they want to charge Americans for. They want to charge Americans more. They want to take more money out of you so they can pay less. And that's what this is about. That's what this whole thing is about. Now, the Huffington Post also notes that studies by researchers not tied to the $8 billion wellness industry have shown that these programs improve employee health little, if at all. And an industry group recently concluded that they have saved so little on medical costs that on average, the programs themselves, workplace wellness programs, they lose money. So why do these employers keep wanting to get into these plans, these workplace wellness programs? Because it's a way to shift costs from them onto the worker, onto you, all while getting access to your private healthcare information. We don't want to pay for your benefits. We want you to pay more for your benefits by charging you more for not being in these wellness programs. So that's what's going on here. Now, again, the reason they hate the 2008 genetic law is because it prohibits this group health care plan, the kind of employers have, from asking, let alone requiring somebody to undergo a genetic test. It also prohibits this specifically for underwriting purposes, which is where wellness programs come in. Underwriting is, of course, is what they base insurance deductibles, rebates, rewards, and other financial incentives on, completing a health risk assessment or health screenings. In addition, any genetic information that can be provided the employer only in a de-identified aggregated form rather than a way that reveals which individual has which genetic profile. Now, look, why would they want to look at your genes? Well, what if you have a predisposition for diabetes? If they can find that, or a predisposition for some sort of disease, does that mean that they could charge you more for that? That's not within the, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. I think it's all about the money. Now, there is an exception, right? However, as long as employers make providing genetic information voluntary, then they can ask employers for it. Under this House bill, none of the protections for health and genetic information provided by GINA or the disabilities law would apply to workplace wellness programs as long as they are complied with the ACA's very limited requirements for these programs. As a result, employers could demand that employees undergo genetic testing and health screenings, or they end up losing some of their benefits or get charged more under this law. Now, they say that while the information returned to employers would not include workers' names, it's not difficult, especially if you're working at a small company, to match a genetic profile with the individual. So again, all of this is trying to get your personal information in order to use it to extract more money from you, taking more money from you so that they can pay less for your health insurance. It's redistribution, man. And that's what it's all about. Follow the money, Lebowski. Look, I think it's pretty clear that the Republican Party is the party of big corporations. Let's see what you want about the Democrats, right? And the failures of them and how much corporate influence you have in that party. And trust me, there is a great deal of corporate influence inside of the Democratic Party as well. But the Republican Party is 100% nakedly and unabashedly the party of big business and big corporations. It's not a secret. It's not an aside. You don't have, like the Democratic Party right now, the progressive wing versus the corporate wing. The entire Republican Party is the corporate wing. And it's out in the open. With this piece of legislation, they want to make it easier for a company to charge you more for your health insurance. If you still think these politicians, the Republican Party, is on your side, then I'm sorry, but you are not paying attention. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.